All right, let's go. Let's do this Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, noonish, nooner, Sunday nooner, sun nooner, something like that. Let's get this going. We were the same record, the we being the Florida Panthers, were the same record at 1-2 last year. Felt a little bit different, right? Felt a little bit different last year. We had won game 3. These last 2 games have not been pleasant. Last night was not easy to watch. Now, the Ottawa game, we played a bad first period. Next couple periods, things got better. I mean, Ottawa blocked 30 shots. I don't even know if we got 30 shots last night. I don't even know if we ended up with 30 shots on goal last night. So, what the effort we put out there last night, I know Barkov and Tkachuk are out, but shouldn't that make the effort more? Shouldn't we have seen guys like Bennett and Reinhart and Verhaeghe pick it up? I mean, that's not just my imagination, right? Hey, Meadow, we had 4 shots in the third, down by 2. Well, then there you go. There you go. They just they mailed that entire thing in, and it's tough to judge. It's tough to really judge Spencer Knight at that point because, okay, first game back, we will allow for him to not have been perfect. I would have liked to have only seen 1 softie instead of 2, but okay, fine. The team gave him no help whatsoever. It was only 3-1. We're down by 2. He'd given up his couple of softies, and then he's flopping around on the ground for whatever reason. He just couldn't get up, and all of our guys are just standing there looking at him. Nobody's getting in the way of the shot. Nothing. They just left him there on his back, and the shot just goes over him. Hey, James. And that summed up the night at that point. And that was all you needed to see. And I understand, sure, we won the cup and we celebrated and the cup hangover and all of those things. Yeah, exactly, James. That's exactly what it was. It was like, however he ended up laying there, he just could not get up. And in fact, he laid there for another 5 or 6 seconds after the goal. And then I thought maybe he was hurt because he was just laying there. So I understand no Barkov, no Tkachuk, but that's not why we lost that game last night. Hopefully Tkachuk, can come back Monday and he's feeling better. And hopefully somebody is going to, I know it's early and all of that. I'm not saying Maurice needs to lay into him, but the players need to be held accountable a little bit to themselves. Vince is, Dr. Jaws, my team sucks. How can one cope with such reality? I heard you have a great deal of experience. What should I do? It sucks sucking. My prescription for dealing with how the team is playing right now is go back and watch the highlights from about 10 years ago and just look at the names in the back of the jerseys. And that should make you feel better about where we are now. You know what I mean? It should make you feel better about where we are now. We'll be okay. But last night was not. At least the Ottawa game was entertaining with all the, it sucked. Ottawa was blocking all those shots, but that was entertaining. Last night was like pulling teeth. That was tough. Meadow says, Knight panicked. It's a lesson to learn. When Swayman had a bad giveaway, he doesn't panic and flail around. He calmly resets and gets ready for a save. Right. James says, I got to go to the game. Samoskevich seems to be the only one trying. Ekblad needs to stay in the neutral zone. Yeah, Samoskevich, like I said last night, I applaud the effort. I absolutely applaud the effort from Samoskevich. But you're not going to go wide on these NHL defensemen. It's just not going to happen. And, I don't necessarily, he's going to have to get used to dumping that puck in and going to get it. Otherwise, they're going to continue to do what they've been doing, which is just smush them up against the boards. And you can see it coming. So it's early. It's really his first games, right? So he's learning. He'll figure that out. But either he needs to figure that out or he needs to put on 10 or 15 pounds. So when we get healthy, when we get healthy, we'll see. We'll see if he's going to get to keep that spot or not. I says, I don't know how this team didn't give Jaws drinking a problem over these 10 years. Oh, I have my issues. It's just not alcohol. Can you guys see the bottle? The cognac's over there. No, me and alcohol never agreed. Even when I was a young man, like 2 sips of a beer, and I was gone. I was gone. So no, alcohol is definitely not my my cope of choice. We'll just put it that way. Vincent says they're going to lose the Canadians. These guys crazy this year. We're going to lose some games. We're going to lose some games this year. Yeah, we played poorly last night, but Buffalo came to play. Ottawa came to play. These teams, they know that they're going to have to beat Florida, Boston, Toronto, Tampa if they want to make the playoffs. And, they've got a good mix of young and up-and-coming players. And the formula is there to beat the Panthers, right? Especially on a night when we're not really at our best. You just don't let us play our game. You know what I mean? You just best us at our game is what I should say. And what Ottawa did the other night, blocking the shots. So any team can come in and play a game like that. Now, can you do 82 like that? No, and that's where we are. But you don't. We've really put ourselves into a pickle now because considering the injuries, if you would have gotten out of the first 5 games with 5 points, you say, okay, all right. But now we gotta beat Boston. We got to get 2 points against Boston. Now you start looking at things at 1 and 3, and then you play the second game. I just realized something. Right now as I was talking. We played Spencer Knight last night, but we played back-to-back Monday and Tuesday. Why did we do that? I hadn't thought about that at all until right now. Why did we play Spencer Knight last night when we're going to have to play him again probably Tuesday? Unless they're going to say, Spencer, you go back down to the AHL and call up Drieger. I don't think they're going to do that. And they might. He wasn't terrible last night. He got after the second softie, after the third goal. He was better. Yeah, Metal says he'll go against the Jackets. Vincent says so he would be ready. I guess, right? So I'll put it this way. He's going to get an opportunity to jump right back on it, right? He's going to get an opportunity to put that one quickly in his rearview mirror. But we need Chucky back. No Barkov and no Tkachuk. Clearly, those 2 guys are the heartbeat of the team. We can talk about Sam Bennett all we want, but that effort last night, there was obviously nobody on the bench that was going to make them accountable. Liz McGee is terrified. You mean of the play of the team? Give it a week. If we go the next 5 games and we're like 2-5, then we might have a problem. We're not going to suddenly just start sucking, but every good hockey team, it's still a balance of the things that you do well, you have to do them well, and they have to go right. We have to forecheck. We ain't been doing that. We have to play physical, aggressive. We did that somewhat against Ottawa, but not really so much. We didn't have to against Boston. And you've got to have better than average goaltending at worst. And no, it's not been good at all. The goaltending numbers have been terrible. James says, I like the Bennett power play goal. I like the creativity better than constantly trying to force the bumper play to Reinhart. And that's likely, I agree with you, James, that's likely a construct of them being forced to change things without Barkov and Tkachuk, right? They had no choice. Metal says, every Atlanta team besides us in Ottawa got 2 points yesterday. Luckily, first place is 4 points. Last place is 2 points. So luckily, no real damage has been done just yet. But Monday, Tuesday, you got to get 3 of those 4 points. If you do that, then is that the end of the road trip, or do we have one more? Henderson says, don't panic yet. Still very early on. Tampa look like a lottery team until a week before the break. This team will come around. Right. Yeah. Yeah, no big concern yet, but at least make it entertaining. Like I keep saying, the Ottawa game was entertaining. I can live with that. Last night, hey, JC, thank you, bud. Thank you, JC. Thank you. What you got for me? He says, no need to panic. Night is still in it. Side note, they call you Jaws for that giant schnoz. Take this 10 and get myself some contouring. All right, JC. That I wasn't expecting that on a Sunday morning, but I'll take it. If anybody else wants to throw me $10 and talk shit about how I look, go for it. I'm cheap. This is my uncle's nose. I know, JC. It's cool. This is my uncle's nose. My uncle on my mother's side. Yeah. My dad and that side of the family's got a different nose. It's like a curved. It's more curved. But this one, yeah. And my uncle, same exact nose. Matthias got the same nose too. It's cool. It's fine. I'm slowly, maybe even rapidly, now that Karen's gone, the beard, the white and the beard, I'm becoming comfortable with the loss of looks that age has brought me. Almost as a what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I don't want to be bothered, you know what I mean? I'm kind of slowly turning into that grumpy old man. It's just like, whatever, except I do need to get to the gym every morning. That's the one thing I'll keep up on, because when I get to the gym in the mornings, I have a great day. And I notice on the days that when I don't get to the gym in the morning, by the late afternoon, early evening, I'm pretty ornery. I'm in a pretty lousy mood on those days. So, John's like a honey badger. He don't give a shit. I had my day. You know what I mean? I'm good. I didn't have a day. I had several calendar years. I'm good. Sharks age gracefully. That's true. That's true. So, one thing I am going to change up with the channel while we're talking, the sagas and everything, I'm going to still do them, but I was actually going to try to do it last night, but it didn't work out. I'm going to try to do them after the games instead of the following morning. Because number one, doing them in the morning cuts, it makes it so I don't go to the gym. And I think that views would be better if I did them like once the recap is done and uploaded, then I just come in here and I film film the saga. I think maybe views would do better if I just did them right after the game than in the morning. Liz says they like clawing back. I suppose I know it's early, but it wrecks my day with losing. Yeah, it's when you lose like we did last night, right? It's unpleasant. It's unpleasant. Thank God I don't have to watch the Dolphins today. I'm very, very happy with that. Nothing to I got to clean my house today. My daughter's coming in. She's going to be staying down here with me and my ex for about 10 days. She's going to be here Tuesday. So I have to at least make the house not look like a frat house. Eyes, he was just sick in terms of, okay, that got answered. Yeah. James says, I don't think we want Bob playing too many games. I think we'll see Knight start more games, even if there isn't a back-to-back. Yeah. He's got to play better than he did last night, right? Yeah, the effort last night was not good. Colby says, Vegas started off 10-0 last year and barely made the playoffs. Rather be hot the second half. No disagreement there whatsoever, Colby. Absolutely agree with that. But we do have to watch it. We do have to watch it. The East is going to be competitive as hell this year. Clearly, the Devils are as good as advertised. Rangers, Canes, right? And when you look at the Atlantic, there's a lot of teams that could be picking up that 4 or 5, the 2 wild card spots. You could end up with both teams in the, and out of the Atlantic and the wall. That's what I picked in my season preview. So you need to win some of these games, But I wouldn't be too concerned all that much. Really, honestly, they haven't even looked like themselves enough to be concerned. It kind of still looks like they're in preseason mode, right? I mean, last night was just like you couldn't even really have a complaint other than lack of effort, because like you couldn't even say they were overpassing because they never even had the puck enough to overpass. They were just standing around. So the good news with Barkov only being out, they think they're going to try to get him back for the Finland. I don't know. Now, the way that I don't know if anybody has heard whether it's specifically a knee or an ankle, but the way I saw it worded in somebody's tweet was that the imaging showed no fracture. So that makes me think that they thought maybe he did something to his ankle, because generally speaking, you don't talk about fractures in the knee. So that's good though, right? And I know we called up Giles. Is it Giles with a hard G or Giles? I've heard it both ways. Did he even get on the ice last night? Oh, Kyle is cooking hot dogs. He's cooking hot dogs for Matthias's lunch, and I'm sitting here smelling them. And all I've eaten all day is an apple. Oh, now I'm going to have hot dogs for lunch. Damn it. All right, Colby says, I honestly think we will be 1-4 because Boston will play their best against us. We don't have Barkov and maybe Tkachuk. Knight will be in against Columbus, and emotions due to Gaudreau will be high. Is that their home opener, Colby? Is that their home opener? Meadow says Knight was very hard on himself in the post game. Certainly wasn't all his fault, but he may be inspired to improve his game. Yeah, the third one needs to not happen, right? Especially since the second one, you get a piece of it. You kind of should have stopped it. Okay, the third one, that needs to not happen. Scroll down to the bottom here. So it's with a J. All right, thank you, Metal. So it's Giles. Okay. I says, well, the good news is our AHL team won 7-6. The bad news is Drieger gave up 6 goals. Colby says, yes, that's their home opener. We had that stint in Finland too, so we could slide a bit. We'll go on a run after Thanksgiving, and nobody will remember this. Yeah, that's not a gimme. That's not a gimme, those 2 points there. That emotion is going to be similar to what the Panthers had with their, their banner ceremony. Trey says, you all remember that we effed off for the entire month of March, or was it February? Same thing, and we won the cup. I think it was March, Trey, because that's when Kyle went on vacation. And as soon as he went on vacation, we started losing. And dogs started dying. Jeez, don't get me started. Why you bring up March? Bolvar says, as I sit here watching the Bears curb stomp the Jaguars, I remember the Dolphins were one of 2 teams Urban Meyer has a coaching win against. Oh, I'm glad I don't have to watch the Dolphins play today. That would have, when this stream is over, I have something very important to do. And it's probably going to take me all day and all night. Absolutely nothing. That's exactly what I'm going to do, is absolutely nothing. Unless, of course, the Panthers trade Spencer Knight and Aaron Ekblad for Sidney Crosby in the afternoon. It's probably not going to happen. I know that to make Trey happy. Right. Metal says, thing is, we have to clinch the playoffs before we can coast. Colby says, Oilers and Avalanche fans aren't panicking after being down 0-2. Our fan base shouldn't be after only one. I don't think any. I haven't looked on Twitter or Facebook, so I don't know. I'm not panicking. I got irritated because if you were on the stream, the internet was crap until the end of the night. Which, by the way, this is the laptop that wouldn't work last night. It's working fine. So that was just special to get me pissed off. I guess I don't know what the hell happened last night. Trey says, just saying, the only bad thing right now is if Knight had played well last night, we could have probably traded him to Colorado. You think? Kenneth says that Crosby will go to the Avs. It wouldn't surprise me if they were going to move him, that they would move him out of the conference, right? I like Metal's idea. Ekblad for Ekman, Larson, and Stolars. Yeah, right. James says, it's not panicking to point out a lack of effort. I assume you're referring to Twitter. Yeah, Twitter and Facebook these days can be it can be a hoot. Let's just put it that way. Trey says, that Facebook group is absolutely panicking. The group has made me understand why other teams hate it. I interact with all of you. You know what I mean? I go to Twitter. I post my stuff. I scroll for about 2 minutes. This is not any fun. Facebook, I go. This is not any fun. I like interacting with all of you because, I'm not limited to 160 characters. We'll start there. And you guys get my crazy. You know what I mean? Nothing's worse than like posting something on Twitter that you guys with the channel completely understand the context and everything that I'm saying. And I posted to Twitter, and people that don't know me will give me a bunch of grief. And then I got to explain myself. And circling back to the 53-year-old part, not really caring, I don't want to explain myself anymore. I don't really want to have to explain myself about a damn thing. And I think that's where I'm at. The dogs died. The girlfriend left. I ain't explaining shit to nobody. Let's see. Hardware says Knight was not great, but Bob also allowed 4 goals against Boston. It's hard playing without Tkachuk and Barkov. That is a fair point in terms of the defensive end of my internet crapped out for a half a second. As soon as I said the internet was going good, it crapped out. It's coming back though, I think. We should be good. Should be good. Okay, we're good. That was weird. It just boop, boop, but it came back. So Trey says, I can handle one Swarm X, and even then he has to go to a timeout. sometimes during the playoffs on Facebook, everyone is swore. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything there. So Kyle is cooking those hot dogs, man. They smell so good. And you know what that guarantees? That guarantees there's none left. Hardwood. Yeah, I agree with that. I like how Greer is playing. Yep, makes up for Cousins. 100%. I like how Greer is playing. To kind of go over the thing that, the roster a little bit. I mean, Schmidt got a goal, right? There was that. He got a goal. There's really nobody that I'm looking in terms of players that I'm like, that's a problem. When we're fully healthy, I don't know if Samoskevich gets to keep his job. I don't know if Maurice will put Nosek at 4C and maybe move Boquist up. Hey, Paul, how you doing, bud? Says, what's up, everyone? Growing pains, a lot of new parts. It's going to take some time. Is it wrong? I'm already hoping Ekblad goes on LTIR. Well, we can't afford anybody. Well, I mean, I guess if he went on LTIR, that would help us have some cap space. But didn't he do the thing last night? Was it last night that he did it? Yeah. It was one point right there in the second period, I think. Towards the end of the second period, we were finally trying to get a little bit of momentum. And he lost the puck at the blue line, and then Knight did stop a breakaway. After the fourth goal, and I know how that sounds, but really after the third goal, Knight played better. The fourth one, I mean, he was flat on his back, and nobody decided to jump into the crease to block the shot. They all just stood there and looked at him. I couldn't believe it when I watched the replay. They all just sat there and looked at him and the shot just goes over him. It was crazy. So, but after that, he did settle down, played okay. He made some saves when he needed to. It was only 4-2, right? The offense could have helped out and gotten a goal in the first 5 minutes of the third period. It was only 2-goal lead, 2-goal lead. It shouldn't have been completely over. Harvard said Samoskevich has been playing good. Yep. He's just got to learn to dump it in and not try to carry it in along the boards. James says Greer is definitely an upgrade over Lomberg, and we're not paying him $2 million. He's definitely fast. Yeah. Harvard says signing Verhaeghe now ensures that Ekblad won't be back. How do you figure? Not that I'm disagreeing, but how do you figure one has to do with the other? Colby says most of the new Panther fans act like Alabama and Yankee fans. According to them, we can't lose a game. I mean, you win the cup, you're going to pick up new fans, right? That's going to happen. So I won't complain about that. Vincent says Boquist is not our guy. Which one? Which one, Vincent? James is saying the same thing. Great White, it's Etherneted in. It's Ethernet. We just when sometimes if a bird flies over the house in the right triangulation, it will cause a vortex of solar flares, and the internet flashes off and on for a couple of seconds. Oh, the defenseman. Okay. So you're not a fan of Adam? Well, I don't know that when they brought him in, I think they thought that Schmidt was going to take that spot, to be honest with you. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see them want to upgrade, right? That definitely wouldn't surprise me to see them want to upgrade a little bit there to give us that extra depth. I says, Jaws, you should have made a video after we won the cup for new Fairweather and bandwagon fans. So your new Panther fan. Yeah, I just after what went down as soon as we won the cup. I I just shut down. You know what I mean? Certainly, I wouldn't have been able to make anything funny. If the lousy start continues, maybe I'll do something like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't been Adam Boquist is not known for his defense, right? He's known a little bit as a more offensive defenseman. But everything is just the structure has just been so bad all the way around. It's hard to even pinpoint one guy that looks a certain way, you know? Which the hardware says that series took a decade off of our lives. Are you talking about are you talking about the cup? The cup? I know game 5 and 6 took a year off my life. Game 4, you kind of knew, right? Against Edmonton. You kind of knew that was gonna kind of happen. I can't complain though, because I'm not even gonna pretend. Game 5 and game 6, if we win game 4, if we sweep them in 4, I made an extra $2,000 on game 5, 6, and 7. So I'm good. I'm good that it went down that way. Now, some of that might have not been completely the difference, right? Because a lot of people gave right at the end when we won the cup, so maybe they still would have given at the end of game 4, right? But it's okay. Yeah, we need bandwagon fans to fill the house. Yeah, no, hey, look, to me, a bandwagon fan is somebody that picks it up and then drops it, right? You know what I mean? If you pick them up as a fan and then they stay, then I think they can lose the bandwagon tag, right? I mean, at some point, if you're not a day one fan, right? And maybe this should be maybe not a bad idea for a video. If you're not a day one fan, at some point you either somebody brought you to a game, right? Or the only other logical way you suddenly become a fan of a team is, oh, they got good, and now you're a bandwagon fan, and then you stay with the team, right? You know, yeah, it could be like with Kyle, you know, he inherited the Dolphins and everything like that. That can happen too. All right, let's see. I says being a fan of this team takes years off your life. They don't call them the cardiac cats for nothing. I had a black beard and hair when I started this channel. Colby says Edmonton has been outscored 10-1 on home ice in their first 2 games. The cup could have also taken their toll on them or secretly diminished their confidence. Again, only 2 contests have been played. You would have thought they would have started off after last year, right? After the way they started the season last year, you would have thought they would have started this year off, you know, with a large amount of intent of starting off well. But then again, we lost the cup. We came into last season super motivated to get back, and we lost our first 2 games, right? So, hey, Justin, he says, I think Spencer Knight will be fine. It's just his first game. I wouldn't worry about his performance going forward. And then Sunswine says, Knight ain't the guy. Maybe we should have kept Levi. I give him 3 games. The first game back, I mean, it was an interesting choice. No Barkov, no Tkachuk on the road against a desperate winless team when you know you've got to play Spencer Knight either Monday or Tuesday already. It was an interesting choice to make last night his first game back in a year and a half. But maybe what Maurice thought was his first game back might not look so good. And he kind of figured maybe we could beat Buffalo anyway, right? And I think those days are over a little bit. You know, I think the easy wins in the Atlantic, in Montreal, no more. Buffalo, no more. Detroit, no more. Ottawa, no more. The only one left is, you know, maybe Columbus. I don't know. No easy wins. Columbus isn't even in the Atlantic. What am I talking about? Trey says, fire Maurice, trade Tkachuk, rip the C from Barkov, buy out Bob, and move to Hartford. Trey says that's exactly why Spencer played. Barkov was out, Tkachuk was out. It was Buffalo. That's the definition of an F-off game. Jackson says, I have full confidence tonight will be fine in the long run. Yes, hopefully. I can't sit here and say I have full confidence in that. I have a full set of hope. He has had the tendency to give up early soft goals. So the fact that he did it again yesterday, I'm willing to give him time, but let's just say we're willing to give him time. But I don't have 100% confidence that he's the dude. I would be lying if I said I did. I'm not saying I want to trade him or anything like that. But I wouldn't be against us. And I know we've continued to draft goalies. I would not be against us investigating other possibilities as the successor to Bob. Like Trey's idea. I like Trey's idea. Or was it my idea? Or was it a combined idea? Somehow we just got to, convince the Rangers to give up Shesterkin. Oh, maybe not. That whole thing, that's going to be, I wonder if that's going to turn into another Swayman. I mean, when the dude turns down 11, if he turns down 11, I mean, that sounds like, but then again, it sounded that way with Swayman, right? He turned down 8, then he takes 8.25. It's like, is he turning down 11 to get 11.25? Liz has got it. Liz has she's said it perfectly. He looks like a nervous wreck making snow angels, but we had no guys up front helping him. Exactly. Both things can be true. On that fourth goal, you've got a young goalie in. He's struggling. He's flat on his back. Why didn't somebody stand in the crease and block the shot? Come on now. And at that point, it was only 3-1. Maybe somebody makes a play and the puck turns around, goes the other way, goes in the net. Jackson says, honestly, I felt we played okay to the end of the first period. Then we gave up the 2 quick goals. After that, the team vanished. Exactly. Colby says, Igor gave up 6 goals on 26 shots against Utah. That's because I gave Trey some bad fantasy advice. Hey, Trey, did that fantasy advice end up bad or good? Because I know both goalies ended up playing like crap. Vincent says, I appreciate that you don't lie to us. Yeah, no, it's true. I love the kid. I hope he develops. But, we're going to know this year. Let's put it that way. We should know by mid-season with Spencer Knight because he's obviously going to play. And if the defense rounds out the form and the team is playing well, Stolarz was good, Lyon was good, Drieger was good, all his backups on this team. So I'm not saying he has to have better numbers than Bob, but I would think after 15, 20 starts this year, whenever he hits that number, we'll have an idea of what we might have with him. At some point, you have to start judging him on his play, right? And I understand if you want to kind of take his previous play and just kind of shit can that and say, okay, here's the new Spencer Knight. Like, all right, show us what you got. Trey says, I left about 8 points on the board, still have the most in the league. All right, that's cool. It wasn't bad advice. Utah is just good. Yeah. Yeah, isn't that going to suck for Coyotes fans? Isn't that going to suck for Coyotes fans? Right? Hey, Sybil, how you doing, bud? He says, hey, Jaws, on one hand, I'm dissatisfied with last night's result. On the other hand, we had a defenseman playing on the third line, so I can't be too upset. Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, I think main complaint anybody has about last night is the effort. You know, where's Mark Pysyk these days? Right? Where's Mark Pysyk these days? I'm not one to complain about anything that Bill Zito does. But in hindsight, and I'm not kidding here, by the way, in hindsight, since he knew we were going to have such cap issues and be so strapped, maybe it wouldn't have been the worst idea in the world to have a defenseman that can fill in for at forward and get a hat trick, right? They're all over the place. Did Mark Pysyk retire? Is he still playing? Yeah, as we could have used them last night. Hey, LL Sabres for the Cup. You got to make the playoffs. You got a lot of competition in that division there, bud. It's not impossible, but Ottawa ain't going to be no cupcake either. You know, you still got, Florida, Boston, Toronto, Tampa. That's 4, right? Tampa doesn't look bad right now. I mean, they played a game, but they don't look bad. Vasilevsky looked good. Oh, the chat got really fast here. Hold on. Okay, so Mike's having a conversation with Sybil, so that's why I didn't understand. Okay. Meadow says we're 23rd in the league. Last year at this time we were 26th, so we're in better shape, right? Justin's not happy to hear. Hey, he did get a hat trick. I think Pysyk was Rowe. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Tom Rowe brought in Pysyk. Thank you, Eyes. Pysyk was on a PTO with the Ducks but got released. I can't read that name. Farming Panther says, I just want Buffalo to make the playoffs for the sake of their fans. They deserve it at this point. Mike says, no, they don't. I think it's going to go to Ottawa, although Allmark didn't have a good game last night either way. Right? Sybil says, please, God, let Buffalo make the playoffs. Yeah, Vincent's got it. Lorenz scored and Stenlund scored. Because, of course, right? We'll be okay. Let's look at the schedule here. Hold on a second. Let's see what we got coming up here after these few games. So we got Boston tomorrow, 1 o'clock. The stream will start at 12:30, so there won't be a noon stream, obviously. We're just having the game. And then the last game of the road trip is the Black Jackets, the Blue Jackets on Tuesday. And then Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday are the home games. That's the Canucks, the Knights, and the Wild. So generally speaking, when we go on those early Western Conference road trips, we don't play so well, but these are at home. So I think you'll see Bob be able to play all of those games. And then we've got a road trip coming up after that. Rangers, Islanders, Sabres, Stars. Oh, no, that's the Finland trip. Boy, I don't know if Barkov's going to be back by that. I know they were saying they were hopeful he was going to be back by that, but that's 2 weeks away. I don't know. He'd be pissed, though. That would suck if he missed that. James, no sick. They put him on LTIR, and he has to miss 10 games total. So now he's missed 3. So whenever that is, that's when he's eligible to come back. Mike says Boston at lunchtime on the Monday is another scheduled loss like last night. Yeah, not real. I think the only thing we have going for us in that game is Bob didn't play last night, And if he can steal one, right? But we're going to get Swayman, aren't we? For those of you who are chanting Swayman. We're going to get Swayman, aren't we? Yes, we are. We're going to get exactly what we asked for. Yeah. But even if we drop Boston, if you come back against Columbus and win that, what did I give it? 4 points in the first 5 games. It's not great, but it could be a lot worse. David says, do I have a public P.O. box? Sorry if it's on the page. Couldn't find it. I can email you if you prefer. Just want to send something in. It's a bit of a gag gift, but you think I'll like it. I appreciate that, David. Yeah, just email me at flyingfluffyhockey@gmail.com. Actually, Kyle has a P.O. box, but I don't know the number because it's like a dummy P.O. box we use for business. But yeah, just email me and I'll get the P.O. box information for you. I appreciate that. Mike says if it was real bad, they would have flown him home to start rehabbing. That's a decent point. James, in terms of specifically, I don't know, but like I said earlier in the stream, the way it was worded from one of the tweets was that there was no fracture found in the imaging, which leads me to believe that it is a sprained ankle. If they were looking at something that might have been fractured, maybe in his ankle or his shin area. So, but that's just my opinion based on a tweet. Right. Mike says NHL teams don't reveal that because then teams will go after that body part. Yeah. It was I thought when he initially did it, I thought it was his head because he was holding his head like this, but then you watched the replay and you obviously knew it wasn't. So which is kind of better. Last thing we need is Barkov with concussion issues. We don't want to putz around with that. So we'll be all right. Now tomorrow, I rarely sit here and think we don't have a chance in a game, but I would like to hear Tkachuk's better. When it seems as though when our guys get sick, it seems like they're out for a little bit of time. You know what I mean? It seems like the sickness lingers. Hey, David. Thank you, bud. Thank you, David. Much appreciated, buddy. This is awesome. Sending an email over in a little bit. Appreciate that, bud. Mike says, in my opinion, it's his ankle. That's what Kyle had said that night. And he's usually pretty observant with that stuff, too. Yeah, pretty lucky it's only a sprain. There's been way too many injuries and falls into the boards like that. Yeah. That's when, was it Ekblad busted his ankle that way? Didn't we lose 2 guys 1 year going into the boards? I know Ekblad did it once, but I seem to remember there was a second player of ours that did that. So, yeah, thank you, Mike. Trocheck, yeah, that's right. That was the bad one. Yeah, that was the bad one. So, and Colby's got a good point too. He says someone pointed out if Tkachuk is this sick, some other players might also be. Yeah, remember that road trip? Was it last year or the year before, the West Coast road trip, where we were clearly just not playing well? And that could, I don't want to make too many excuses, but if half the team is sick, that would explain the level of effort from last night, right? I wonder if that's why. I wonder if Bubba was starting to not feel good. Yeah, Trey says about Barkov, he should be playing a doctor on TV. Yep, Trey called it right from the very beginning. He talks to the puppets. He's got the room bugged. I know exactly what Trey did. Vincent Bennett, Bennett. Yeah, I don't like guys going into the boards. Not a big fan of that. Trey says, in my expert medical opinion, Tkachuk is the only one sick. The other guys simply loafed. That was loafing. There's no doubt about that. Mike says, we got to somehow play 500 hockey through the first 10, then go on a run with Barkov returns. That sounds about right. Yeah. And, we're going to get, last thing I'll say before I get ready to go, because I got to go make lunch before the games start. We're going to get everybody's best effort. You've seen it against Ottawa. You've seen it last night. Buffalo didn't have to work as hard as Ottawa did because we weren't taking the shots. But forget what you saw against Boston. Forget that. What we saw, how we saw Ottawa play and how we saw Buffalo play last night, that's what we're going to get from most teams, most nights. So we got to get healthy, get our crap together, and then kind of exactly what Mike is saying. Let's get through those first 10 games and just survive. We don't want to end up like Edmonton, right? Let's not go 1-9 or whatever the hell Edmonton was last year, whatever they were. Let's not do that, right? Because we already know what happens when you got to play this system and bust your ass the second half of the season to make the playoffs. We want to be locked and loaded in the top 3 spot. Yeah. Mike says Oilers 0-2, Colorado 0-2, Panthers 1-2. Yeah, not yet, Mike. Now, if we come home and we're 1-4, we need some points. You know what I mean? I'd like, you want to bust your ass, get Boston to overtime. Maybe we don't win, but Columbus. But like Colby said, it's their home opener. The emotions are going to be high. So, all right, everybody. I'm going to go make myself some hot dogs now if there's any hot dogs left. Thank you for coming out on a Sunday morning. Appreciate all the support, all the super chats. And that's it. I will see you guys tomorrow, 1/2 hour before the game. And, if you have not seen if you need to catch up, start from the beginning on the Eastern Conference saga. I only put out a short this morning. I put out a short for the Eastern Conference saga this morning because I recorded and it wasn't, I was too tired. So, but the short's decent. And then tomorrow I'll get back to the regular format. All right, everybody, enjoy your Sunday.